so much for joining me for this episode of Monday Morning Coffee with Christine. Read, watch, listen. I'm here at the beautiful Pop 54 Art Gallery, Chris Henderson's place to showcase amazing artists. Come check it out. And look who's with me today. I've got Kim Gatlin here with me today. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
I am so happy you're here. And she is going to share her picks with us today. We're going to start with her book. You want to tell me what book you chose?
I chose Sometimes He Whispers, Sometimes He Roars.
Sometimes He Whispers, Sometimes He Roars, which I was so excited to hear about because I've never heard about it, which is the point of the whole thing. And you were telling me a little bit about the author and why you picked this book.
I love this book because she is married to my cousin's minister. And people I don't think, really give ministers' wives enough credit for what they deal with and what they go through as the wife of a minister. And she's really lovely, and she's obviously been in that world for so long, and I just felt like she had so much to say that probably hadn't been heard and from a completely different perspective. But one thing I was really bad about is when my prayer life needed work, and I was really frustrated because I felt like my prayers were falling on deaf ears, and I think everybody feels like that sometimes.
Definitely.
And she kind of shows you how sometimes God's a little more subtle than we give him credit for being.
I love that.
So I really got a lot out of it, and I really enjoyed it, and I think you would too.
I love that. I love that you said that reading this book made you notice the little gifts, the little things, and that sometimes that is the message.
Mm-hmm.
You think you're looking for a bigger one, and that's what
Well,
it is.
there's a part in there about I won't give it away, but it has to do with pennies, and how sometimes that can be a little reminder that God's got you, God's thinking of you, God's working on your behalf all the time. And I swear to you, everywhere I went for weeks after that, I found pennies everywhere I went. It was hilarious.
Gosh, what a message.
It really was.
Beautiful. So I love that. A new book to look at. If you haven't, I'm certainly going to read it. Thank you so much. And Kim, I gotta ask you about the cup.
It was a gift from my daughter. My daughter Lauren was Highland Park Bell drill team, and they went to Orlando every year to compete. And she and I always kind of had this joke about self-proclaimed princesses. And I kind of tried to, in a very motherly way, warn her that it was kind of unattractive when girls would be like, from head to toe, princess this, princess that, because sometimes I would find myself thinking, define princess. You know? So anyway, she brought me kind of as a joke this cup that says, once a princess, always a princess.
I love a little inside joke there. Thank you, appreciate that. Okay, and now we're going to talk about the movie that you recommended. You want to tell me what it is?
Something's Gotta Give with Diane Keaton and Jack Nicholson.
Loved that movie. Why did you pick it today?
It's my all-time favorite. For some reason, that movie really resonated with me personally, because growing up in the middle of Dallas the way I did, I saw so many of my friends' parents' marriages fall apart, and then their father, the next thing we knew, was dating one of our friends or the younger sibling of one of our friends.
Awkward!
It was beyond awkward. And when I got to the age where I was like old enough to go to restaurants that my parents frequented, like by myself or with my friends without my parents, and I would see Mr. So-and-so at the valet with some girl that I knew wasn't his niece, you know, and just seeing the whole way that Jack Nicholson played that role out of, you know, really coming to grips with what really made him happy and who he really was, and I loved it. It just warmed my heart, and probably because I've seen so much of that my whole life.
Probably, yeah.
But I thought it was hysterical and so well done.
It was very well done, very well cast. Couldn't have been done better. And I loved what you said about how at the end of his life, when he found out he was sick, how he actually started realizing what was really important to him.
He got his priorities straight in a hurry.
Yeah.
We have a tendency to do that.
Yeah, I think we can all learn from that. So something's got to give.
Love it.
Cool. And then we're going to go to music choice.
Okay.
Really surprised by that.
Everybody is.
I know, but loved it. You want to tell us what it is?
Well, I think everybody automatically assumes or expects me to be just a rabid, dyed-in-the-wool country music fan. And I am. I mean, I love country music. But my real heart is with just kicking the teeth, like make your ears bleed, rock and roll. I love it.
Obviously.
It's like the heavier, the better. But like one of my best friends is a classically trained power metal guitarist, and he's just brilliant. And I could just sit around and listen and play for days. But music that I chose for this was Slash's new album, World on Fire. And it's the closest thing that you can come to 80s rock. I mean, I picked the whole album. I couldn't even pick one song.
I love that.
And it's just awesome. I mean, every single song on there is really good. There's not one bad one. And I love Miles Kennedy.
I know.
I mean, I've got the biggest crush on his voice. I can't even stand it. I mean, he's got amazing range, and there's such strength and power there, and it just does it for me, is all I can tell you.
I know. I love that you picked it, because number one, I did not know that Slash was touring without Guns N' Roses. Didn't even know he was doing music without them. I've never heard of Miles Kennedy, so it was a really great gift to me. And you're right, we were talking about how we both just love music when it's great music, and it runs a gamut of genres, and you don't really have to pick one. But since you did say that everybody expects you to like country music, do you have a country song that you would recommend?
My all-time favorite country music song is really old. It was released in like 1976. It's Loretta Lynn's "When the Tingle Becomes a Chill." Because I don't know a woman in the world that can't identify with that, and it kind of sums it up in a hurry.
I know. Tell, in case somebody doesn't get it right away, what does it even mean?
It kind of talks about when that, I mean, at one point you're madly in love with this man, and your whole world revolves around him, and there's not anything in the world you wouldn't do for him. And all of a sudden, that same feeling that you had, it's almost like War of the Roses-esque. It's like that same feeling you had is that intense in the other direction. It's like,
Yeah.
So,
and I love that she did that in 1976. It seems like it wouldn't have been easy for a woman to get a song like that necessarily recorded, but she used her power to do that.
Yeah, if she were a new artist, I don't think they would have ever cut that for her.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
But she was first lady of country music, so she kind of got her way.
Absolutely, yeah. Thank you so much. So you got them right there, her choice for a read, a watch, and a listen. Check them out, and I will see you next week.